The second trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day just dropped, and man, if you thought the first tease was wild, this footage completely shifts gears. We are looking at an absolute masterclass in tension. This trailer moves past the basic setup and throws us directly into Peter Parker's dark, uncontrollable mutation. It's everything you want a modern Spider-Man movie to be: gritty, stakes-heavy, and packed with incredible lore. In this explainer, we're mapping out Peter's brutal evolution, the Banner connection, the new psychic threat, the underworld swarm, and of course, all those hidden details. Let's go! Let's start right at the beginning with that insane bank robbery. Peter swings in, but his swing is totally out of whack. He literally crashes right through a billboard. And that lack of control, it's incredibly dangerous. When Scorpion attacks with his lethal venom-filled tail, Peter's mutation suddenly activates. You can literally see the shift in his eyes. What follows isn't your typical friendly neighborhood Spider-Man combat. He violently grabs Scorpion, drags him, and brutally slams him into a police car with terrifying force. It shows a complete lack of restraint. Honestly, it heavily mirrors the famous Superior Spider-Man comic arc, where Dr. Octopus takes over Peter's body, punches Scorpion, and accidentally rips his entire jaw off just because he didn't realize how much raw strength Peter normally holds back. We are seeing a Peter who can no longer hold back. To visually confirm this mutation, just look closely at his wrists right here. He tries to fire his standard mechanical web shooters, but this new, incredibly dense, thick, organic webbing is literally pushing the mechanical tech right off his arms. The organic webbing is far more powerful, firing with a force he just isn't used to. He can't tune it, he can't calibrate it, and it's physically replacing his old gear. And it isn't just the webs either. If we look at the comic lore, his wall crawling actually comes from interatomic force enhancement. Basically, he subconsciously manipulates atomic structures between surfaces to stick to them. But because he's mutating, this is going completely haywire. During the swing, pigeons randomly stick to his body. It's a hilarious but amazing discovery and a direct reference to the other comic storyline, where his body undergoes this massive natural evolution. In that run, he even saves a girl from a collapsing building by literally sticking her to his back so his hands are free. Next up, we have the Banner connection. So Peter's obviously terrified of his own genetics right now, so he seeks out the one guy who gets it, Bruce Banner. Interestingly, Bruce is back in his human form, not the smart Hulk we've seen recently, and he's using a brand new inhibitor to keep the Hulk at bay. Now, if you freeze the frame and look closely at the inhibitor's UI, it reads Gamma Suppression Active. But the massive reveal here is the logo stamped right on the tech. It's Stark Industries. This opens up a pretty fascinating theory about Tony Stark developing this gamma suppression tech for Bruce before he died. But, in the comic books, whenever you introduce technology that drains or suppresses gamma radiation, villains inevitably weaponize it to use against the Hulk or force his transformation. This tech, it's a ticking time bomb just waiting to be exploited. And boom, it gets exploited. Later in the trailer, we see the terrifying moment that inhibitor breaks. Bruce transforms back into a completely savage Green Hulk. Peter desperately tries to use his mechanical web shooters to hold him back, but a massive shockwave from the Hulk's thunderclap effortlessly swats Spider-Man away like a fly. The power scaling here is wildly mismatched, and Peter is in serious trouble. Which brings us to the psychic threat. Because the Hulk isn't even the real mastermind here. Enter Sadie Sink's terrifying new villain, a psychic entity pulling the strings from the shadows. Her powers are unlike anything Peter has ever faced. On a street level, she generates massive mental shockwaves. At first glance, it looks like an explosion, but it's actually a psychic blast. She can completely freeze crowds of normal citizens in a single mental state, very similar to how Professor X operates. Even worse, she body hops through regular civilians just to talk to and taunt Peter. And the absolute most dangerous part? She knows exactly who is under the mask. Now, look at how the trailer shows the aftermath of her psychic shockwave. All the vulnerable citizens are completely frozen, totally mind-controlled. But walking right through the crowd completely unaffected is the Punisher. And of course, Spider-Man isn't frozen either. Why? Well, because Peter's Spidey sense acts as a subconscious shield against psychic attacks. We actually saw this brilliant defense mechanism in No Way Home. Remember when Doctor Strange pushed Peter's astral form out of his body, but his physical body kept dodging Strange's magic anyway? His Spidey sense literally protects his mind. But that immunity only makes her angrier. She body hops into a civilian just to deliver this chilling quote to Peter. Maybe I'll go pay MJ a visit. It's incredibly dark. She uses her telepathy not just to threaten the love of his life, but we also see her later using this exact same body hopping technique to mentally torture Bruce Banner, which is likely what forces him to turn into the Hulk in the first place. She is absolutely ruthless.
Now let's talk about the Underworld Swarm.
With MJ threatened, Peter goes into full panic mode. He takes her to the only person he trusts, who is heavily armed and immune to psychic blasts, Frank Castle, the Punisher. In a massive Easter egg for comic fans, they hide out on a boat named the Golden Girl. In the comics, the Punisher has multiple hidden safe houses, and a boat named the Golden Girl is one of his most famous. It basically confirms Frank Castle is going to be heavily involved in locking down MJ's safety while Peter goes on the offensive.
And Peter definitely needs to go on the offensive because he ends up trapped in a massive prison fight against a swarm of hand ninjas. If you want to know how normal humans fight Spider-Man, they use a specific strategy, attacking in endless, coordinated waves using modern tactical weaponry, stuff that looks right out of the PlayStation games. Their sole goal isn't to overpower him, it's to completely exhaust him. Even with spider agility, fighting hundreds of enemies back-to-back wears you down fast.
But here's the thing. The hand ninjas don't usually use modern tech like that. So who is funding them? The heavy implication here is Tombstone. With Wilson Fisk gone, there's a massive power vacuum in the New York underworld. Tombstone is backing these modern ninjas trying to claim the Kingpin's old territory, effectively forcing Peter to fight a war on two fronts, the psychic threat from above and the mob war from below.
All right, let's get into the hidden details.
Those are the big plot beats, but let's dive into some rapid-fire secrets that establish exactly where we are in the timeline. We get a shot of Ned's apartment, and he's obsessed with tracking Spider-Man, building a website called Spidey Tracking Net. Look at the dates on his monitor. It tracks Spidey's first appearance to 2016 during Civil War, moves through the 2017 Homecoming era, and confirms that right now, in the present, Ned and MJ are in their final semester at MIT. So a significant amount of time has passed since No Way Home. They've moved on, but Peter's still stuck in Queens fighting.
And you can really see that maturity in Peter. We see a shot of him stitching up his own facial wounds, a job Happy Hogan used to do for him. He's totally alone now. We also see a glimpse through his mask's UI. Down in the corner it says VPN on, which is an amazing callback to Far From Home when MJ told him to always use a VPN in Europe to avoid government tracking. He actually listened. Also in the UI, there's a warning about synthetic polymer, proving his suit is actively trying to analyze the weird organic webs his body is producing. We also get this highly telling quote from a high-ranking Department of Damage Control official, who seems to be an adaptation of William Stryker. He says, "A threat we can't even see? What do we do about that?" This highlights the sheer desperation of the DODC regarding the psychic villain, and it heavily hints at the anti-mutant theme starting to bleed into the world, setting up a very hostile environment for people with evolving powers like Peter.
Which leads us to the ultimate question. This brings us to the absolute climax of the trailer, leaving us with one massive mystery. We see Peter plummeting from a collapsing building right alongside a raging Hulk. But if you look incredibly closely at Peter's hand, he is tightly gripping a mysterious device. The reigning theory? Peter went back to Bruce Banner's apartment and stole a piece of that Stark Industries gamma or psychic suppression tech. Is this device the key to stopping the psychic villain? Did CD Sync's character force the Hulk to attack Peter just to keep that device out of his hands? It is a brilliant tease that completely changes the context of the fight. I mean, what do you think that device is? Because the stakes have literally never been higher. This explainer only scratches the surface, but the hype is incredibly real.